upset me now. I've nearly got a sense of humour. Sometimes I wonder where it is. It's a whimsical offering. No guaranteeing it's going to sound like anything worth listening to, but oh yeah, I'll have a go. I love it. Secret. Better than drugs. How would I know? It's a secret. I'm a good guesser. An informed guesser. bits I like, you know, worth preserving. It'll get better. Bound to. It's been getting better ever since I started. I've lived the sticking plasters. The cat's gone on my nose again. Smudge! Smudge, get down! Disobedient cat. I have to go out. Smudgy! Come on, Mr. Smudgy. You're going outside. You're an international star now, so don't complain. Do your thing out there. I know he can get in if he tries. But he's got to try really hard because I'm fixing to go. I'll try for maybe an hour or two. A little less now. I'll call him in. Buffed out, man. Oh. Where was I? Can never start the same place twice. Yeah, my method of learning the music is natural. It's kind of accelerated evolution, if you like. I figured that there was one note and it was represented by the whole thing. Then I figured that it had a top end and a bottom end because it's limited, so it's finite, so it's got a top end and a bottom end because it's finite logically. Right, well, I'll find out where they are, and then I'll try and slide from one to the other to see if I can create this kind of sinal curve, really smooth, if I can. Not everything does that. And I think, why? And then I got introduced to pentatonic. And then I realised that there were certain things which were dissonant and certain things which weren't. This had 6 holes. And that fucks me for a while because I couldn't work out what the extra hole was, having absorbed what pentatonic was about with this wonderful harmonic black note magic. As if I was never strong enough on my hand, but if you could boogie like that, you know, you could just go down the thing with and do anything. You'd always hit the right notes, so that's what they do. Once they'd learned a natural scale, which is natural 5. The extra 1, what's all that about? Well, it turns out that you can get the same note pitched from both ends, so that gives you a certain amount of flexibility. But, so to learn to play, I took one of the holes, simple. And I learned to play 5 holes because the fife was easy to teach. It played pentatonic music in a kind of traditional folk pattern of phrasing. It's the singing pattern, the speaking pattern, set to music. So I did simple phrasing, like call and response, and I got some simple tunes out of it that were very close, reminiscent of other tunes which I'd heard professional musicians playing. And I tended to listen to a lot of very different stuff, from Hey Nonny No, Bob Copper's songbook style. You know, people kept on talking about Jethro Tull, but it got annoying after a while because I play wooden flute. And I don't have masses of financial backing, and I'm not the Lord of Skye, the Laird of Skye, so I have to stick with what I'm into. I discovered it's got a 40,000 year tradition that's been acknowledged. 40,000 years. Well, they must have had some hot music in that time, maybe even before they invented records and all the rest of it. They could have a hot time without anybody even noticing, you know. They wouldn't have remembered it, except that they had a good session last night. But the music would evolve gradually, and it goes from being solo, making magic tunes like the Pied Piper of Hamelin, or gradually you meet others and you get an ensemble, maybe some kind of band. Maybe you have to ask permission in medieval times to make music, and they became the liveried waits. They had a badge or else sponsorship by Heineken, you know, like they do in London. I ain't having any of that. You know, when Thatcher came in, I had to go, you know, because I believe that the tunnels are free, you know. Acoustic music is enhanced by tubular shapes. So I felt really hurt when they stopped me just making lovely notes, make sense in the tube. I didn't make much of a penny. I just loved the sound. It was beautiful, that's all. But my enthusiasm continues from being 14 years old to now. This is some time. Over 50 years. What was it? I'll be 70 this year. And it'd be a shame if whatever I've learned was lost forever, because I should have some sort of legacy. It's a bit ephemeral. No. It's music, and it doesn't fit into annotation, what I do. Alright? Because it's different every time, so it's pointless writing it down, because it won't be the music. It is. As the muse descends upon you, if you like, it's an inspirational happening. As I said, it was better than drugs, you know. You don't even know if you've heard the note, and if you miss one, you'll put it in your mind. You'll put that note in. You'll hear somebody singing as though they were there. You see the feet tapping away. You know, even if there's no one in the room, I've got people dancing in my mind. You know, I've got period costumes from all ages. You know, I've got from primitive cavemen in the Danny Rogoff caves or something. You know. Making tunes, you know, to the present day, you know, and wild stuff has happened, and I wanted to find, it was like fishing. I thought, well, you know, I'll keep me that one note as my special enterprise to learn it, but I'll find a way to fit it in eventually. It depends which note you tape up, I suppose, that you'll get a certain kind of music out of it. Some of it will sound really primitive and some of it will sound really modern, but it's just a sound. And the meaning of it comes from, I suppose, deep inside you, where it's satisfying. It says something that you can't put into words. Well, I'm more than pentatonic, and at times I'm extremely dissonant, and I can find a place to put dissonant. I had this fantasy fable in my mind, like having been on the street, trying to improve my performance, that amongst all the annotated academy serviced musicians with the privilege of education, Wunderkinds, I think they called them, The notes they threw out of the window of the academy, I caught them. The bum notes. The not good enough notes, they don't fit into the tune notes, you know, not what it says here on this piece of paper, you know, between the lines. So I got the bum notes, and I found that there was a place for them, and there's music that's sanctioned by the state and the church in a kind of conspiracy. You know, you only have to look at the black notes and the white notes to see what kind of arrangement they'd like to have. But, you know, come on, that's impossible. It's only a piano. But those black notes give colour to the whole music, so that's what they did. It was just one of those whimsical little things, you know, but it stayed with us. I wonder what these protesters are going to do when they've knocked down all the statues. What, they're going to pull off all the black notes on the piano and put white notes there instead? I don't know, or make them all black. Or make them all level, the same, so that, you know, nobody knows which one's which, you know, I don't know, but they'd rather just press a button and let somebody else get on with the science, you know, and the engineering. And I'm just sticking with, I don't want sexy ass music, because that ain't music. I don't want voices enhanced by the drug of electronics. I don't want my stage presence to be a part of the acoustics. Unless I'm singing or speaking. But I'm not there to show my face, and it's not about me, it's about culture. Not multiculture, not monoculture, just culture, you know, a byproduct of righteous living, something that lasts, that makes you appreciate some of the goodness that came from the past. You know, not something trapped in a petri dish that you're going to kill off anyway sometime soon. You know, I'm not a flat earther, you know, I don't mind the uneven ground. But the flute comes with me. And for some reason, I don't remember any tunes. How about that? Isn't that strange? I don't have to remember anything. Now, if you're a musician that was trained to know what everything is because you've seen it on a piece of paper, and you don't have your piece of paper, it's like losing all your phone calls and all your phone numbers on your iPhone, isn't it? You know, but bloody useless is that. You've got to play from the heart and play the moment now, the occasion, right? And that's really only one note in the memory of every single person who's there. So you are a unifying factor where nostalgia means something good. You know, that you don't necessarily have to listen to 1,000 fans applauding some plugged-in geezer. You know, you can do it while you're peeling potatoes in the kitchen and you don't feel overcrowded by the audience. Simple. I call it strictly kitchen genre. And I've been learning to play for the Queen of the Fairies, or whoever else, of all the little people in the world that would rather have note by note blow, you know. I tried it on the street. I could say it was very popular, but they included me in the image. Now when you're on the street and people are rushing past, they don't really listen. They can hear you, but it's vroom, straight past you. And the biggest part of the occasion is your decrepit body crumbling in the cold, utterly frozen and dejected, sounding happy on his whistle pipe, for the edification and delight of all except myself. I'm done with that. Done. Years learning curve on that one. Years 5 years I didn't get asked once to come in from the cold. 5 years of nearly every day. You know, there were times I was up at 8 and back to sleep at gone midnight, you know, up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was all right. I felt like I was an independent and I took the risk on myself. And I didn't want to be just a student getting holiday money, so I did it rain or shine. I was determined to be recognised for what I do. I made a puppet. The good dancing doll, I've got him up there. And I learned to play ballroom. I learned before I came to Ireland. I didn't know I could play. They should just keep doing it. I went, okay. Well, Alan says it's all right. I got it here. But, you know, I haven't got any companionship here. I need table companions, for heaven's sake. People I can eat with, people I can talk with, people who don't find me incoherent. They've written that down. He was incoherent, which really means they didn't understand me. So, you know, when it comes down to words fail me, the flute really makes it. You know, I'm touching anybody, I'm not trying to sway anybody. I really don't give a damn whether it's Macron or Boris Johnson screwing up, or Trump or Biden or anybody. In a democracy, the people are to blame. Definitely, every single individual has a degree of responsibility in the electorate. And if they can't think of a way to make life better where they stand, instead of brumming the car around and thinking they're marvellous because they've got credit, then they deserve the government they've got. If they've got no moral standard that stands higher than the bottom line of law, they're not aspiring to be any better than the scum of the earth they want to eradicate for fear that there's competition for the money. So get it straight, you know. If you're not doing enough yourself, do some more. You know, if the law is wrong, then what are you doing? Sitting around waiting for it to come and wrong you? Just so that you've got something to whinge about on the fucking internet. Huh? I've got 1 million views, got credit, you know, what do they call it? Clickbait, you know. All that stuff goes on. You know, people who use the internet as a platform for politics really just want to get their clever little faces seen and get a little bit of money for what they do. And the art is to be controversial, right, and get lots of people pressing the buttons. I don't give a shit if you don't press mine. You know, I don't like having my buttons pressed. You know, I'm an independent. You lot might have been born in a factory. I don't know. My parents made me naturally. You know, I've sensed such great xenophobia. They can't explain it themselves. It's not racism. It's just fear of other. That's all. The unknown. They don't know what to do, how to relate. You know, am I saying this right? Am I standing properly? My body language, your body language, not the same. No. But most of them are born in hospital. And only 2.5% of the British population are born naturally by design. Now there's something wrong with that. 1/4, statistically, according to official documents, of Welsh women are getting caesarean section routinely because they can't be bothered to do the head work. Not right. I got a view. I don't care if you don't like it. There's something up with that. I'm natural born at home. And I've seen people treat me strangely. It's like they're sniffing the meat. And I don't like it. Civilized people don't do that. They try to order the cattle around. I am not a cattle. I'm not a flock. I'll not be managed. I'm unpredictable. I'm a man. An Englishman, born in Leeds, 16 Abbotsford Place, Leeds 7, no longer exists, but I was born there, my granny's house. Just my mum, my dad, and my granny. And I've been treated as though, well, touch of the tarbrush, isn't it? You know, you shall be grateful for, you know, we brought you people down from the trees. You know, you should be grateful or you'll never starve with us. That's absolutely a lie. I have starved in Britain because I wouldn't bend my knee to ask and beg. I had no pipe to blow, so I made a pipe. I stood on the street and I blew it and I made my money and then I ate and I blame no one but myself for not eating. Whenever in emergency I've had to go on to Social Security, they've stopped it for weeks on end. Mrs. and me, we had to get a bus and go to, she was going to work, I was standing in the street getting enough so that we could afford to go to and from her work. With nothing. With nothing to the state. I've been abused by doctors. I've been abused by lack of service from the legal department. I've been attacked and abused by policemen. I've been unlawfully and illegally sectioned in psychiatric hospitals for speaking in a manner which I now illustrate I am used to speaking habitually in this manner. How about that? And is that not within my legal and lawful rights? Naturally it is. It is the way I have learned to express my true nature. There is no ambiguity in my word. Then I speak the truth, and it's easier that way. There's nothing to see here. But bear it in mind, you can have a listen to me anytime. I've got things to say before I could drop off the perch, you know. I'll be 70 this year. And I think warnings need, shots across the bow need to be performed. I've had so much ordnance piled on me, you'd never believe it. I've had my head bashed with ball peen hammers, my back raked with an iron bar where they took turns to fucking hit me. In Britain, I've had policemen laugh because I was too mashed up to press charges. And they say it saves us a lot of trouble. chemically cost 6 times by unlawful misuse of the psychiatric expedient, the sectioning powers of the police. Unlawful. Oh, the chief of police, or the acting chief of police who took over from Grange. He said, you can't substantiate your claim. I can if you can understand logic, documentary, and analyze it forensically. My grammar is invariably fairly perfect in my writing. Not so necessarily. Mine is usually truthful, with a little bit of humour to stop me going crazy while I'm writing. What I get in reply, you would be amazed. Admissions of guilt without knowing they admit it. You know. Can I get representation in law? You must be joking. But well-trusted institutions, oh yeah, we all need police, we all need the NHS. There was some Tory Burke who talked about weaponising the NHS. Well, I warned them and before he said it, and it's happened now, you know, they've done it, they're holding the country to ransom. You can't get any other treatment except COVID treatment. And if you go to hospital, they'll probably whip your organs out, them that's worth saving, shove you in the incinerator, and laugh all the way to the bank. Well, if the teaching hospital in Liverpool can do that with babies' organs and then be busted, then who's to say what they're doing with all the bodies that relatives can't look at? A nice little earner saves having to go to all those scummy Chinese prisons for our extra parts. These are suspicions. They're not allegations. But it makes you think, doesn't it? You know, when a lucrative crime can easily be performed, it doesn't take an idiot of a criminal mind to see it for the opportunity it presents. Right? So where's the prevention? Where is the security if it isn't the families involved with the dead body? That's the only security there is against organ theft. I'm probably right, you know. It's the sort of thing I'd say, isn't it? It's only guesswork. I think a partially proven hypothesis. Imagine going to a dentist and you've got a gold cap. And he takes it out and he puts some base metal in your mouth instead. He doesn't give you the gold back, does he? And you own it. How many dentists do that? Well, that's sort of organ theft, isn't it? That's a cover-up. Look what I've done for you. You've paid for the treatment and you've got your insurance and he claims on that. That little piece of gold, if you add it all up, it's Jason's fleece, isn't it? It's going to mount up, and so will the price of gold. Something's got to be done about that. Oh, it's okay. You think it's all right? Carry on. I'm glad I'm not you. I'm glad I see things my way. I am. I hope you have an epiphany. Just don't epiphany on my wall. No. Trying to keep the mortar clean. This is fun, isn't it? Hey? I mean, nothing to see series. You have to stick all the clues together. It depends what you're into, really. But I need to talk to somebody sometimes. I don't get much social contact here, you know. You know, I've had probably the equivalent of 12 years of lockdown in isolation. A refugee in exile from UK. I kept myself busy by building a permaculture garden, which is a long way from finished, but you know, it's a labour of love, and that's what I'm doing. Energy's at a low ebb at the moment, but it's winter, you know. This is the world, this beautiful world. Most of the time, it's a joy to be with. And we're not wanting for basic stuff, and we're not hounded by the misery of debt. And we don't treat poverty as anything other than the daily grind, really. We're very frugal people. We don't like shopping much. And we make things last, and we patch and mend. And we've met lots of other people who do the same or similar to us, all those aspiring. And we help each other, that's all. It's easy enough to do, you do what you can. It's a well-meant offering and is rarely refused. And we get by. We get by all right. If I had money, I would buy building materials and keep my projects going in the garden. That's all. You know, I've got the long-term vision that hasn't yet been discharged in reality. It's unmanifest as yet. And that's what I'm doing here. No, I'm continuing to live. That's what I'm doing here. That's all. And living for me is working too, you know. And I'm not asking for money, but I do need some. I mean, the little we have is really just going on to living, just. So me finding a pile of timber ready sawn or something, or, you know, 20 ton of stone, or, you know, many cubic meters of Aston ballast, you know, I mean, and a few good big sacks of barrows of a good clay, you know, stuff like that, and a few sacks of nails and lots of screws and some planked wood. I got a decent deck and hopefully some thatch from the fields down on the road to Wren. There's somebody cultivating thatch reeds, you know. I could do with that. Wattle and daub and the anduit. But when you get just a bare field, brown field, and you don't want to ask anybody for anything, and you don't want to intrude into their life and make too much of a splash, I set about my problem of not having anything as first grow your wood. You know, I mean, what else could I do? You know, we got willow for baskets now and for weaving other things. We've got hazels, which is good for nuts, good for poles. Walnut, plums, pear, peach, silver birch, gotchi. I'm cultivating boxwood at the moment. I'll have plenty for everybody one day. People like boxwood. It's a tiny little plant, it don't grow too fast and it's easy to maintain. Round leaf boxwood. My instrumental music is very much influenced by English phrasing, speech phrasing, singing phrasing. The English language is sneaked into a lot of places, and it's been more influential than MI5 and all the political spies and colonial travellers put together. And people have made something of it. And part of that is the music of the culture that has stayed behind and been abandoned by its former lords and masters. But the influence of the language has caused people to have this little shock or rhythm or tuning that I can fit into quite well, because the prejudice isn't mine. Come from the great mixing, you know. It's the shadow of the ghost I was when I was young. The this is the lightweight stuff. No, stuff I could carry with me when I was broken. The band couldn't come. Filling with chatter. The Empty Hat Band strikes again. Well, they're on strike again. They don't seem to be turning up here. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to switch it off now.